it's been. Hope he's ready for this. Hey, man, really, you got to do that now. You're washing her now. You know what? I'm not finna really get into it right now. You need to be aware and prepared. Yes, you need to be aware and prepared for what? This. Say hello to the rules and regulations, or at least some of them, that you're going to have to revise, read over, and recall. Yes, we're going over them today, so I hope you at least memorize the obvious ones. Wait, let me guess, you've been spending too much time with her, teaching her how to read, how to write, and how to understand. Well, that's good. Glad to see you're dedicated to your new goblin girlfriend. Well, if not your girlfriend, your new goblin friend, whichever you want to call it. But you need to be ready for this. So let's get started. Okay. Yep, I'm spending the day with you and her because remember, you have to know at least enough to stay on with us. You don't know anymore, you're going to get kicked out. And no, before you ask me that question, no, they're not going to use some device on you to where you forget about any of this stuff happens. No, we just kick you out. Any animals or pets that you have with you, they go with you to where you're going to go. And we assign you a place where nobody knows you and your pets or companions, whatever they may be to you, they will never know y'all exist. Yes, today's an easy day for you, and today's an easy day for me. It's only been, what, 2 days since that last incident where she got loose because you gave her chocolate. I know, because I didn't tell you. Okay, it happened. But guess what? I see you stop giving her chocolate. Is that what I think it is on that table? Okay. So instead of chocolate, you gave her something else. You gave her a big piece of chicken and a steak. Are you just trying to make her where she just falls in love with you? Because stuff like this will make a goblin girl, especially her, she'll definitely want to stay with you. She ain't looking to go nowhere else now. I mean, why would she? She's got a human or somebody who she comes up to by her waist or his waist. Look, the point is, let me stop. If that's what you want to do, hey, go ahead. Just remember, she does anything, you have to deal with it. That first time was on me because I didn't tell you the rules, regulations, and everything that comes with it when it comes to having one of these, not people, but one of these goblins around with you, especially hers. But anyway, that's what today is all about. So go ahead, open up. Let's get started. Oh, yeah, this book right here, and along with some paper, which I hope you got, you're going to have to at least memorize at least the basics of being a part of the M.O.G. And when it comes to dealing with monsters and having monsters as pets, and possibly ending up in a relationship with one. So let's get started. Okay. You already know the M.O.G. Scrolls or book, whichever one you want to call this. This is basically protected by law by the state of not just the United States or just of the country known as Russia or any other place. Sorry, I'm just fumbling over my words because this part is obvious. This scroll or this book is protected by human hands and monster hands. You will not divulge any of this information to the populace. You will not share any of this information with the populace. You will not take this anywhere and give it to anyone or discuss this with them at any time, at any place. In so doing, you will end up in a worse situation than what you are in right now. But that's just, the penalties and all that other stuff that comes with it. So let's start. Article 1, Section 1. Come on, you got to know that one. That's too easy. Okay. Article 1, Section 1, if you remember and study, it has to do with hunting and capturing and or killing and obtaining monsters. Only seasoned officers and those who are of higher authority, be they wizards, magicians, witches, warlocks, or hunters like me, have authorized privileges or must have authorized privileges and clearance to go out and hunt monsters across the world. Right now, as you know, you don't. You're still on training wheels. You and your goblin girlfriend, of course, are on training wheels at this point. But it's all right. You're catching on. Okay, what's Article 1, Section 2? Come on, man. You sure you've been trying to read some of this stuff? Or has somebody else caught your attention? You know what I mean. Don't look silly. Don't look silly around here now. We both know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Article 1 Section 2 has to do with the coverage of what goes on out there in the world. You already know that means if any time monsters are seen out there in the open, we of course have to persuade the populace to believe that this is nothing real. This is a costume, crazy stuff like Halloween or people dressing up in costumes, wherever it may be. Basically, we're lying our butts off to the people so they'll know that this is not how this seems or how it looks. Okay. Article 1, Section 3. Now, what's that about? Oh, you remember. That's cool. You already know Section 3 has to do with cleanup and basically more coverage, but it's just an elaboration basically saying that once you're done disposing of the problem or capturing the problem or convincing said person or monsters to return back to said safer location, you are responsible for cleanup, making sure they didn't leave anything behind, and definitely making sure that these guys, be they male or female, did not leave anything behind that will reveal the M.O.G and its activities to the world. Oh yeah, that's a big. I'm glad you remember that one. At least that's a big time one right there. Yeah. Do you know how crazy it probably would be if people found out that we got orcs, goblins, minotaurs, trolls, and manticores, elves? They probably would lose their mind if they found out about all this stuff right here, and especially if we tell them about it. They would absolutely be losing their mind. Well, most people would lose their mind. You got a few other, shall we say, more concerning people who would probably be foaming at the mouth if they found out that Lamia women exist, or if there's an orc woman like Teresa running around here. Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure she would have fun snapping every single guy's arm or leg if they tried to hit on her, especially if the men of the world found out. She doesn't mind snapping the few that came through here to try to talk to her, but I can pretty sure imagine her excitement if every single guy on a regular basis approaches her and tries to say, "Hey, baby, you look kind of green. Mind if I get in between?" I'm sorry, but that's what Carl said to her on the first day that they met. She smiled at him so hard to the point where he backed off. And she kept smiling at him every time she looked at him. I don't know if she had a crush on him at that time or she just did that just to scare him. But anyway, I'll let them tell you that story another time. It's more funnier when Carl says it, but it's even funnier when Teresa says it. Anyway, Article 2, Section 1. What's that about? Yes, it's about the weapons. Weapons and caring for your weapons. Any weapon that you use, you must make sure it doesn't leave anything behind. No shells, no plasma, no discharge of any kind must be left behind. We don't need anybody trying to somehow collect the evidence. And you'd be surprised how many bullets that we would or have no problem with leaving behind. But let that be a magic bullet or a bullet with some type of stuff inside of it. We have to make sure that is discreetly taken care of and removed. Why do we do it? Okay, you remember my shotgun, right? The shotgun with the silver spikes in there. Inside each one of those silver spikes is, silver liquid. If I shoot that at a silver werewolf, it won't kill them or it'll wound them badly. But see, it's dripping out. Yeah, the last time I had tried to think about using it at the gun range, I noticed that some of the spikes were dripping a little bit, so I had to take it back and get it refixed up. Yeah, stuff like that doesn't need to be laid out on the ground anywhere because you know how police and forensics are. If they pick up that stuff off the ground or analyze it in one of their labs, they're going to catch on that this stuff isn't normal. Oh, shit. Sorry. Updates on my phone, everything. What? It's not like that kind of update. It's called basically I have stuff on my phone that comes through. Yeah, you'd be surprised. We get updates from where certain monsters are now gathering at, and we get other updates on where certain monsters are arriving at. We even sometimes get even updates on how they're, shall we say, getting used to the life in this world that we live on. We're still trying to figure out where they come from. Well, the only thing that gave it away a little bit was they came from another world. God damn it, these damn updates. Sorry, man. It's just a habit, It's crazy, too. Okay, come on, people. Come on. Oh God. Look, see, this is one of my updates that I'm talking about. Look at this. You see this right here? This is one of my updates that I have to put up with from time to time. Where's it coming from? It's just so happened to be coming from the update on where the Lamia women or the other guys are going to. I have no problem with knowing that. I don't. But what I have a problem with is when it keeps coming to my damn phone. So it's a hassle. But anyway, going back to what we're studying, yes. Article 2, Section 1, you already know the weapons. We got to make sure any weapon we use, it leaves behind no residue or any evidence. Now, Article 2, Section 2, what is that? Right, you nailed it. Upkeep. When it comes to your weapons and living in this M.O.G facility or any M.O.G facility, you have to make sure that your upkeep of your bunk or your place where you sleep at is well maintenance and well taken care of. Yeah, we got a laundromat down here. What, you thought we was gonna be dirty all the time? No. We wash our clothes, we feed each other, we clean up behind each other's messes, but a lot of time we make sure everybody is responsible for their own stuff. That means I don't need to be coming over to your place or your bunk and find out that you left it so nasty that the roaches are now here and that now we gotta worry about the roaches tasting something that might make them either grow bigger or make it where they're poisonous to us if they bite us or crawl on us. Yeah, it happened before. About a couple of years back, a guy, he was so filthy that when we opened up his bunk and we opened up his door, we found a roach as big as a dog in there. It tried to run past us and it kept leaving a trail of ooze on the ground because, well, one of the guys took a standard pistol and shot it in the back, but when it started bleeding its ooze all over the place, the ooze was acid-like. We had to get the witches to put spell binds all over it and we had to clean up the acid substance. It was crazy. But at least you got that one. Now, Article 2, Section 3. What's that? Perfect, yes. Of course, the obvious one, too. Of course, who doesn't forget that one? Payment. Your payment has to deal with any type of animal or monster that you have to deal with out there in the world. And yes, since you're still new to this, yeah, I'm pretty sure when you saw that, you didn't like how much you were getting paid. Oh yeah, it's not a joke. When you first start in this business, the most you are getting is anywhere between $5,000 to $6,000. But then, given what you have to spend that money on when it comes to your weapon and your upkeep, the only free amount of money you may have left is maybe, and I do mean this, is maybe about maybe $1,000 or so, because the weapons, that takes half of your money right there, and then a good section of it goes to your bunk and your upkeep of where you're going to be living at, where you're going to be spending all your stuff at. You understand. But anyway, at least you got Article 2 covered. You need to revise yourself on Article 1 and its sections. But now we're coming to the fun part, the part that a lot of people mess up on. Article 3, Section 1. Now, what do you think that's about? Orcs. Yes, the orcs. Orcs are the toughest ones to deal with. They can be civilized, but at the same time, you got to remember, if orcs are running loose out there, we have to basically give them the reason to want to be detained. And so far, we've done it with gentle ways. A few orcs that are smart and they recognize the world that they're in now is different from their own. They don't mind helping us ease some of the new ones in. But then we have those crazier ones that get loose and try to run all over the country, and that's the ones we have to worry about. Article, yep, you nailed it. Article 1, Section 2, and Section 3. We have to worry about coverage and cleanup in case if they make a mess. You got it. You're on a roll. I like that about you. Oh, wow, look at her. She's so sweet. I like how the fact that she's busy trying to distract you when you're supposed to be studying this. Hey, back up, you little goblin woman. Don't even think about it. I'm teaching your husband, your husband, to learn this stuff about taking care of orcs, you, and anything else. What? What you looking at me for? Don't look at me like that. Hey, you're the one who didn't want to shoot her the first day, and now, since you done fed her, since you done taken care of her, you gave her a bath, she will not leave you ever. Just remember the number one rule, and that's always at the top of Article 1, is never get yourself in a relationship with them. And then there's some more stuff on that with them, but we'll get to that later. Okay, what's Article 3, Section 2? Yep, you guessed it. Goblins. When it comes to goblins, they're not too hard to deal with, but at the same time, it's called don't let the ones out there who are still running loose overcome you and overwhelm you. If you can trick them all into something, do so. But remember, all of this in the end has to deal with one thing: being discreet. Now, what's Article 3, Section 3 about? Yep, the centaurs. Centaurs are more or less, shall we say, well educated and aware, but they sometimes have a tendency to get frightened. That's why we make sure they're in those countries that nobody really never goes to or wants to ever visit. Oh, yeah, it's pretty fun out there seeing them in action. Yeah, there's a certain part in Norway where there's centaurs at, right? They got a small little community for themselves. And they do have lovers there too. Yep, it ain't just centaur lovers. They got human lovers out there, and they just got it all out there. But it's pretty comfortable for them. They have plenty of room to run. They have plenty of places to take care of their home, and they have even kids. You would love it actually out there. Despite all the hype that certain people have, it's pretty nice out there. They have pretty much lived up to what society would expect them to live up to be. But anyway, now, Article 4, Section 1. What's that? You definitely better study this one. That has to do with witches. Yeah, witches around here, a lot of them came from the other world, but they're more or less kind of on the nice side, but they would gladly still turn against us. We sometimes remind them to keep their magic powers on a leash, but a lot of them have shown us that they will gladly help us. But at the same time, we have others who say, "What's in it for me?" Oh, yeah. A few of them picked up that little habit from me, too. What's in it for me policy? Simple. They're giving us magical items, magic runes, magic wands, magic orbs, like that ice orb that you saw me use in the forest when we were dealing with those goblins. They give us stuff like that to use out there to keep other monsters in check. But at the same time, they turn around and say, "What's in it for me?" And they heard me say that a couple of times. So now, every time we need a certain, shall we say, item from them, or a certain magical gift from them, or protection or rune spells to keep us safe from other monsters, we always get the words, "What's in it for me?" Yeah, I shouldn't have said that too much around them, because now every time I go around certain wizards, they make sure they say, "Hey, what's in it for me, Mr. Shaun Grayson? Hey, what's in it for me? I'm giving you this, I'm giving you that," and I have to look at them every day, just remind me of that nonsense. But anyway, Article 4, Section 2, what's that about? Yep, sorcerers. Sorcerers are not a good thing. You definitely better be making sure you're aware of that. Sorcerers have a lot of good magic. They can cause spells that'll make you see things that are not there. And we do have a lot of special runes that protect us from it, but not all of them are always strong. And sometimes on certain missions and certain tasks, we have to go after said people to get them. Yeah, it's not an easy job taking a sorcerer or a witch or even a wizard captured. Those guys are handfuls. But they're not as handful as what Article 4, Section 3 is about. And who are those? Yes, the necromancers. Yeah, are you crazy, man? I've only seen one necromancer, and it was not easy. We had to kill this one. It took about, ooh, this was some years back. This was actually back in 2012. A war of necromancer was running loose all around there in Middle America. They couldn't find it, but we knew where he was. So it took me, about two other wizards, and a couple of orcs, and maybe even a few other standard people to go after this thing. But the problem was this necromancer was using his magic to bring back the dead. Yeah, yes, this was real, man. It brought back dead zombies, you name it, zombies, undead warriors, everything. We were fighting our way through almost 50 undead beings. Zombies, it was so horrible, man. I did not want to ever go through that again. That was too much stuff to clean up. And then we had to make it where people stay focused on like what's going on in the Gulf of Mexico when it came to those storms. So think back to any time when there was something going on in the Gulf of Mexico when it came to the storms. That was us cleaning up that big mess out there, and we had to do it in a certain amount of time before the storm ended. And some of that storm was also caused by some of our wizards and witches. They made sure it was big enough to where when it came through there that it gave us time to get all that crap out the way, because that necromancer, I kid you not, he was annoying. He even made one of the other guys who was fighting him, he made it where his hand was decaying and rotting to where it was trying to choke him. We had to chop off his hand in the middle of the battle. But hopefully we won't have to deal with none of those guys down the road. But anyway, so before we go any further, let's recover what you know. Article 1 is what? That's right, clearance. What else? Coverage, you got it. What else? Cleanup, good. Article 3, what's that about? No. We ain't going to Article 2. That's too easy. Article 3, what is that about? We just did it. Orcs, goblins, and centaur. Good. You got it. What is Article 2 now? Yeah, you see how you easily blaze through that? Weapon, upkeep, and payment. Now, what's Article 5 about? Article 5, Section 1. What's that about? Yep, the first one is about minotaurs. Yep, minotaurs are at times rough, but they're pretty now civilized around here. But we do get occasion where some of them get loose and then they start running around crushing and beating on anything that comes their way. So even that's pretty tough from time to time too. Okay, but what else do you know about minotaurs? Have you been studying that? Good. You've been keeping yourself aware of that. What else? Okay, you got that in your head. That's good too. And can you tell her to stop doing that? She's playing with your hair. Come on, tell her to stop. You're not even focused no more. Give her something. Just don't give her that, as you know. Don't give her that. Yeah. Matter of fact, give her chocolate. And no, she can't have nothing I bring in here ever, because I don't need her trying to get attached to me. But anyway, Article 5, Section 2. What's that? Ogre, yeah. You already know what that means when it comes to ogres. They're pretty much humanoid, but pretty much we don't have to worry about those guys. They're really loyal. They're all down here in M.O.G facilities with us, trying to help us with weapons, trying to improve things, you name it. But you already don't need to know much about them, or if you do want to know, just ask them. And what's Article 5, Section 3 about? Yes, dragons. So far, we've only had a few dragon sightings in the last 10 years. We don't know if they're all dead, but that's the good thing. We don't want them to come around here. We don't ever want to encounter them either. We've encountered so far fire dragons, ice dragons, lightning dragons, wind dragons. We're still trying to classify them all. We've encountered the rarest one we've seen so far, buddy, has been the earth dragon, and that has been crazy. I don't ever want to see an earth dragon. I'm told they don't shoot stuff out their mouth that's normal. They shoot rocks at you when they're breathing on you. Oh, man. But anyway, so far we covered a good number of stuff, so at least you got the articles obviously done. Now, what's Article 6 all about? Come on, man. You sure you've been reading this, man? I know I've asked that too many times, but I need to make sure you're reading this, because sometimes you'll be going out there on a mission on your own, and they need to make sure that you know how to deal with these things when they come up. So what's Article 6 about? Yes, Article 6 has to do with relationships or a relationship with any monsters, be it a man or a woman. Yes. Come on, man. You really want me to explain all that to you? I mean, I'm going to make it short, but I will tell you this. In the event that of a monster, say like you two, the way your goblin girl is all over your head and all underneath you, in the event that we catch y'all, or if we ever find out she's pregnant by you, or y'all are doing something you shouldn't be doing, in the event we find out, you will be pretty much kicked out of the M.O.G organization, or you can stay on, but your goblin girlfriend, she has to be removed from here and sent somewhere safe from prying eyes. And we only have right now just a few areas. We have some of the mountain areas in the US. We have Norway up there, we have Russia up there, we even got Dubai up there, but the most common one and obvious one is some of the smaller islands that have some type of volcanic activity. But be careful going there. Yeah, we even have so far some slime monsters in that area too. But decide on that. I'll go into that later. But the point is this: if you do anything with her, just be aware you have to stay on with us. We can't let you go. And if we let you go, we're going to let you and her go to a small island to where every day we're going to, if not every day, every other week or so, we're going to check in with you guys to make sure you're okay. You'll be able to come back and work with the M.O.G, but you really won't be able to do much else. But anyway, is that understandable, or do I need to go really further into details of what relationship is? Okay, thank God, man. Jesus Christ. At least you got that. At least that's one obvious thing you remember. Now, what's Article 7 about? Our policy? Yes. Our policy is simple. Find, capture, or kill. If we find out where the monsters are, or if we find out where the humanoid beings are, be they orcs, goblins, centaurs, lamias, dragons, ogres, minotaurs, whatever their species is, if we find out where they're at, our job is to capture them at first, if they are willing to be captured and willing to talk. If we can't capture them, then we have to eliminate them. And that brings you back to what? Yep, you got it. Article 1. For what area? Section 2. Yes, see, you got it. And then look at you. You want to explain. Okay, go ahead, explain. I want to hear this answer. Hey, there you go. Article 1, Section 2, then Article 2 of Section 1. After you done did the coverage, after you done did all that other stuff with Section 3, which you forgot to mention, but that's okay. You get a pass on that one. You got it. After we deal with the monsters, be they humanoid or not, and we take care of coverage and cleanup. Then after that, we come back, we take care of weapon and cleanup and upkeep on our weapons, and then we get paid and take care of home. Hey, there you go. So you're starting to remember, you're starting to catch on. Okay. Now, Article, you know what? We'll wait on Article 8. I need to see how, though, you're really doing. What? That's weird just to hear me see how you're doing? Yes, around here, man, mental health is important. We've had people set on fire, electrocuted, sick, throwing up their vomit. We had people throwing up mercury out of their body because a witch put it there, but she didn't put it at its strongest substance. She made it weak enough to where it was fun enough to see a human throw up mercury. But really, though, we've gone through a lot around here. Even every once in a while, we have to submit ourselves for psychological analysis and therapy sessions around here, too. It's not easy, man. This business sounds easy, but it's not that easy. It's rough. Between dealing with goblins on a regular basis and every once in a while trolls, it's hectic out here. The worst ones we have to deal with are the witches, wizards, sorcerers, warlocks, necromancers, and dragons. The majority of the time we see orcs, trolls, minotaurs, goblins, centaurs, lamias. We see those, but those are easy for us to take care of. The problem, though, is after a while of doing that, it wears down on us. So after you done been out there in the field, we'll say maybe 5 days a week, or if you got coming from a rough battle, you have to submit yourselves for a therapy session, both physical and mental. Yeah, we got to make sure around here we're up to par. We can't just go out there every single day and just say, oh, we're fine. No, we have to be careful. 1 minute you are looking like you're looking right now. You got your arms, your legs, both your eyeballs. 1 minute you got that stuff. Next thing you know, you're missing one. Like, have you seen some of the people that come through here? You haven't. Well, okay, keep this in mind. Some of the people come through here after you've seen a few of them that you walked by. Some of them are missing their eyeball. Some of them are blind. A lot of them are missing a leg or an arm or fingers because of the pain they had to endure to capture the monster. Matter of fact, maybe I can tell you something about one of my adventures. Oh, you'll be amazed. I went through pretty much everything. One of my missions consisted of capturing some orcs that had gotten loose into our world, and they were rampaging all up north in the US. Of course, they were doing it in isolated areas, so it was easy, but when me and the team I was working with had to encounter them, I kid you not, taking down orcs that are rampaging is not easy. They were literally trying to chop at our faces every time they saw an opening. I had to lean left, duck, right, up, jump back, and shoot. It was not easy. I went through all my bullets on my handgun, my shotgun. I was using the ice one to freeze some of them over. And after doing that for 5 minutes, I felt like I did a workout. But I was fine until one of the orcs manages to get a knife and stab me in the shoulder. Oh yes, it hurt. I was bleeding profusely for a second, but then after my colleagues restrained it with magical spells, I turned around and blew that orc's head off. Hell yeah, that was annoying, man. You won't know annoying and pain until you get stabbed on this job or come close to dying. But that was one of my missions back then. My first mission? Oh, you want to know about my first one? Well, that was easy. My first one consisted of me going after a single Lamia. I, for a second, had to question that because I thought they were going to send me after Medusa because she's been the longest monster that we have never caught, ever. Yes, that Medusa, the one from, you heard about Poseidon and all that stuff, she has been the only monster we have not been able to capture, but we keep her isolated in a particular part of the world that nobody knows about. I only get sent there every once in a while, but it's only just to make sure that the spells are up. And no, we are not going because they sent certain people there, like witches and wizards, to make it where the spell is so strong that she can't leave. But we're not completely mean to her. We drop some food down there from her from time to time. She eats it, that's it. But anyway, my very first mission with the M.O.G was going after a Lamia. Yeah, I found her. She was in the U.S. in a small state of Idaho. She had managed to get to the woods, and I got there with her, and well, she was a little bit tiny, at least that's what I thought at first, until she got a hold of me. Oh, yes, she wrapped herself around me and tried to squeeze, but she stopped. How did she stop? She looked at me, and I looked at her. And before you ask, no, there wasn't no romance involved. I just looked at her, and I said these exact words to her. Don't you want to live? She didn't understand what I meant, but she let me go. She didn't know which way to go, and I held out my hand to her, and she took it. And I brought her back here. I brought her back to the M.O.G facility, and I said, she's safe, she's fine, let her live. Since then, every time she sees me, she says hi, but she has a tendency to wrap herself around me, and I tell her knock that off. She knows I'm in a committed relationship, but she still loves to do it. And I'm pretty sure at any time, if I slip up around her, she will gladly try to ask me to do something more than just let her coil around me, but we're not talking about that. Oh, please, to hell with you and your obvious statements of what I wanted. I didn't want that at the time. No, she was pretty big. But anyway, that was my first mission, catching a Lamia woman who was lost. The next other mission, as you heard, was, well, not right away, but later the missions down the road was the orcs that got loose, and that part right there. Oh, man. But anyway, you need to be here remembering these articles. Article 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and don't even worry about 6. You better just remember the first 5 articles and their sections when it comes to cleanup, coverage, payment, upkeep, and dealing with monsters. Excuse me. Yeah, I ate before I came here, man, and I had some water too. You know how hectic it is? But anyway, is there any kind of questions you want to ask me? Okay, that's a fair question. Do we have slime monsters here? Yes, we do. There's just not many of them. The first few that came through here, one of them is in a volcano, and she's active on a regular basis. Another one is in a swamp somewhere, and he doesn't like to be bothered unless we really want to talk to him or if we need his help. And then there's one out in the ocean somewhere, but it knows better to come up out of the water. The slimes, they chose to maintain some of their original form, like the one in the volcano. She prefers to be active and aware. And she likes the fact that we come up there and talk to her. She's really friendly. She done made a small place for us to sit at, to chill, to relax, you name it. She is that friendly. The one on the ocean, he's a bit of a more of a feral type. He doesn't want to be seen or bothered unless he has a reason to come up. And yeah, he occasionally causes unnatural weather disasters out there in the water, but right now he hasn't done any so far, so he's pretty calm. The one in the swamp, well, that one, he's pretty much a colossal asshole. He says the swamp is all that matters. He doesn't want us nowhere near it. He doesn't want any of us around it. But we still go there to make sure we go to check on him to make sure he's staying his butt in that swamp. Where is it at? Somewhere in not Europe necessarily, but somewhere in Paris, in one of their smaller in one of their well, he was out there in Paris. We had to move him somewhere else. I don't know where he got moved to, but I know he's no longer there. Anything else you want to ask? Harpies. Oh, of course, yes, the harpies. Those forgetful, joyful, flying women and flying men. They are a joy to have around here. As you can see, when you came in here, you should have looked up. Some of them were flying supplies, weapons, you name it. They were flying stuff all around our head. It gives them a sense of duty to feel that. And yes, a few guys managed to get with a few harpy women, and a few of them managed to get with some of our women. So it's been quite fun to see harpy women carry around their husband by their talons. Same thing even with the women too. It's funny as hell. I remember the first time Carl came across one of the young ones, it grabbed a hold of him, carried him all the way from one side of the underground facility to the other, and then dropped him in a big pot of water. Oh, this was a big pot, man. It was enough to where you could fit 5 people in there. He got dropped in there. He climbed out. He was so wet, we had to dry him off, and then we had to make sure there was no magical stuff on there. But it was funny to see that. Yeah, we got a hold of her, but we told her don't pick up anybody at random. She agreed not to do so anymore. But she did say, unless it was, Carl. Whew. Man, what time is it? Oh, it's still early, man. I can still stay here. Yes, remember, I'm training you. I gotta make sure you know this stuff. You can't just up and just keep walking around here and stuff. So yes, if I'm over here a whole lot, it's because every other single day or whenever you don't see it coming, I'm going to ask you Article 2, Section 3. See, look at that. You easily forgot about the payment. See, that's why I'm over here. So you need to know this. And of course, she has to touch your stuff. Will you give her a book or something? Tell her to stop grabbing on the stuff you need to learn. You wrote that down on that tablet for a reason. And what's the most obvious thing? See, you caught on to that one. I was finna say it. Yes. Do not have sex with her. And if you do, let me watch. I'm sorry, I'm just messing with you, man. I just did that on purpose. No, I don't. No, I don't want to see it. I've seen enough of it when some of these monster women came in here, and when the monster men came in here. As for the men, it was almost easy. The easiest ones they had were goblins and orcs, and I'm not going into details about it either. It was just, it looked bad for some of them. Oh man. Oh, see, you did fix up your place nice though. Where does she sleep at? She sleeps in the bed with you. Okay. No. Don't worry about it. That's not my business. I'm not going to ask you what she's doing sleeping in the bed with you. And speaking of which, since you took her on, did you give her a name? Miss Greenie. You know what? Actually, that is fitting for her since she's short and since she's green. But okay, I'll let all that slide. Miss Greenie. How you doing, Miss Greenie? I'm Shaun Grayson. Don't you show me your fangs, honey. I'll yank out all your teeth. Might want to get your little goblin girlfriend under control, man. Let her know, hey, I'm just a friend. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I was just doing my job. Anyway, is there anything else you need to ask me about any more of the unusual monsters we get? Well, better yet, let's go down the list and see which ones you remembered to write down to cover. Or better yet, here, I'm going to write the list for you to remember. So what's the first and obvious ones? Goblins, yes. What else? Orcs, more or less, but that's good. What else? Trolls, that's good. What else? Centaurs, good there. Keep going. Harpies, yep. What else? Okay, Lamias, there you go. Minotaurs, that's good. You're aware of that. What else? Don't just stop there, man. There's a bunch of them out there. What else? You're supposed to even mention the obvious ones too. Witches, wizards, sorcerers, warlocks. Yes, you need to remember these things. We hunt everything. Dragons, good there. What else? Oh, do we hunt nymphs from time to time? They're pretty much the jokers, but we make sure that if any of them try to get loose, magical spells on them, and well, technically we do keep them down here, but we gave them a small little forest somewhere where they can run around, jump around, do whatever they want. They thank us a lot of times, but I think some of the nymphs do not like the idea of being trapped somewhere. But like we told one of the ones that talked to us, you guys got to stay here. We don't need you running all over the damn planet causing jokes or causing mischief. Yeah, you'd be surprised how often they were doing that. A couple of years back, they were sending out images to somebody's phone showing them that their wife is cheating on them. We caught that one, but it was a dead giveaway. Yes, you see, every time a nymph uses their magic, we have sorcerers or witches cast their own magic to detect any magic in the area that's been used by a nymph. So far, we've caught more than enough of them. Is there anything else you want to keep asking? Come on, we got to keep covering this stuff. It doesn't stop. It does not stop. You got to keep this in your head, so keep going. What else? You're hungry. Okay, I'll let you we'll go ahead and get something to eat. And yes, we're not leaving her here. We're taking her with us. Oh, you can speak now, little goblin. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, Miss Greenie. You can speak. Which one is it, Greenie or Greenfire? Oh, so you're calling her Greenie. Okay. Well, nice to meet you, Miss Greenie, again. And do not slap my hand or show me your teeth. I'm going to not do anything to you. As long as you stay near him, Mr. Recruiter, you are fine. As long as you go everywhere he goes, you are fine. But when he has to go on a mission, you stay in his bunk and do not leave. Perfect? Thank you, Miss Greenie. And yes, you too. She has to stay here. Every time you go on a job, she has to stay in here. So I hope you have plenty of ways to keep herself entertained. Oh, wow. You do. What do you got to keep her busy for hours on end in case if we have to be gone for days? You brought her an Xbox and you brought her some movies. What kind of movies you got in there? Wow, you really brought her the movie Footloose. What were you thinking, man? We don't need to come back and see her dancing, talking about everybody, everybody. You know what? Let me stop. I'm not going to get started singing. No, I ain't finna sing. You ain't finna put me out there and tell everybody I can sing a little or something like that. But anyway, look, I will check out the entertainment block for her and for you out of the kindness of my heart and make sure she has plenty of stuff to keep her entertained. But for now, let's get up. Let's go get something to eat, okay? And yes, this one's on me. But after today, remember, you better be paying for your own stuff. It's only been however long it's been. So you better make damn sure from here on out, after this day is over with, you better be paying for your own food. And you better be stocking up on food too. You never know when you might need it. And bring enough for her too. You don't want her eating up all your food too. But anyway, get on up. Let's go.